So today we are again very lucky. My close friend for last 25 plus years, and he is almost more than a mentor for me. So in fact, if I written Think Without Him, it was his inspiration, and he worked overnight connecting my scripts and all that. So he used to work, and though he was the CEO of a software company, so I can't forget kind of energy he brings in wherever he is. He may be around 4-5 years senior to us, but the energy he has is something which is unimaginable. Morning 4 o'clock he is up and he starts sending mails and all that. So every day he gets up at 4 o'clock. I took him to my resort, Silent Valley. So 4 o'clock he could measure number of stars and all. I had never seen. So this is the kind of energy I see. And he was, and academically nobody can beat him. He studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, Bangalore, the Bangalore base. He married a girl who studied in BMS Engineering College, another Bangalore relationship. Then he went to IIT BHU, Varanasi. Then after that he went to IIT Kanpur for MTech. After that he came to Bangalore again for IIMB post-graduation. It is not all that easy to get in all here. So from IIMB he went into entrepreneurial things, and he worked in Mexico, worked in US, and after that he came back. He was the CEO of a software company in Sincata. I met him there, 11th floor, viewing all the entire Noida streets and all. He was having a big cabin, and there I had some of my own problems. I went with one innovative scheme of testing students with PETS, we called it, paperless evaluation testing system, which was funded by Microsoft. And that was so complicated. The previous night of the session, it stopped working. So I didn't know how to solve it. So he took me, called all his engineers at the contingency management. We were sitting in his office up to 3 o'clock in the morning. All the engineers were sitting there, they solved the problem. And then I was staying in his house anyway. So then we came back and handled the workshop. So I have seen all kinds of problem solving and energy, all that in him. And he has been a consultant. He worked in education. He has trained a lot of people in different universities also. He has written a book also on this, whatever soft skills we did. He had written around 20 years back. And he has been an advisor to many universities. In fact, his passion is, even at this age, he is very good in volleyball. So give him a ball today, he will play now itself. So, and he is trying to organize something like IPL between universities. So today also he had a meeting with Cambridge. Tomorrow he is going to Mysore University is going to talk. So he is trying to organize a inter-university, first South India, then North India, all that, then all India, something like that. That will become our Lalit Modi. Then so so with all this, I didn't know what talk to give, because everything under the sun he can speak. Then finally I thought something which is different is having, he has guided some students who are supposed to be some kind of a off the track kind of fellows, and made an entrepreneur through his university guidance and all that. So I thought, let us discuss about his journey with bringing a university from scratch to whatever it is now. So we have Dr. Pramod Joshi here. So let us give him a raise.
I must say you have a very sharp memory, because I don't remember many of the things that you just said. I have forgotten. So the topic I have chosen, as he said, is a part of my journey from vision to execution, lessons from building an entrepreneurial ecosystem. When we started, it wasn't an ecosystem. So I'll tell you how it grew to be an ecosystem. Of course, EcosystemSPARK Talk series, all of you know. And the logo that you see on the right is the winning mantra. That's the company that I founded in 2008 along with a friend. The idea was to go to small towns, be C-tier towns, and go to colleges where students don't have the exposure that the metro students have, and give them the winning mantra. The way they can speak better, they can appear for interviews. So the soft skills part, but targeted at students who are a little disenfranchised because of their location. So cities like Meerut, Mathura, Gwalior, Dehradun, Shimla, Those are kind of cities that what we targeted. So that's what you will see at some places, the logo. So my journey already Venkat has spoken about, but I have tried to give it in terms of some blocks of time. I was born in 1958 and I was born in Kanpur. My father was in the Indian Air Force, a normal airman, and I stayed 7 years in Kanpur. Then he was transferred to Madras, which is now called Chennai, and I did 1 year of schooling at KV Tambram, and then he was transferred to Bombay, where I could not find a KV near my home, so I went to the Air India Modern School in Kalina, Santa Cruz. So that was my childhood, you could say. You know, I was about 12 years old when he then got transferred. One thing I remember, 1969, I was in Bombay. My dad was in the Air Force, so his office was right on the tarmac of the airport. And in 1969, once the first 3 men had landed on the moon, they did a world tour and they landed in Bombay. So my dad took me and I saw Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins coming out of the plane from a distance of about 150 feet. The rest of the world was in the terminal, you know, from a distance.
Before the selfie camera was there that time.
Yeah, it's only here. It's only here. So I still have goosebumps, you know. I mean, the first men on the moon coming to India, and they had a moon rock which we could not see, but they gifted to every nation that they visited, right? My dad was transferred to Bangalore at the headquarter training command Mekri Circle, very close by, and I was admitted to the KV Hebal school, which is very close to ISC. Some of you have gone there. So 4 years, 1970 to 74, best years of my life, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That's where I became a volleyball player. I was most of the time not into sports, but some events happened and I became a volleyball player. Then I went to Banaras for my IT BHU for my BTech electronics, and after finishing in 79, I went to Kanpur, 79 to 81. I had some job opportunities at that time, but my MTech guy suggested I work on a project that was awarded by Government of India to IIT Kanpur. And the project was to develop a through-the-earth low-frequency communication system for coal miners. If you recall, there was a Chasnala disaster in Bihar and many miners had been trapped. So the government asked IIT Kanpur. So I worked for 4 years in designing. I was part of a team, I was not alone. 4 of us. So we designed the circuit, then we fabricated it, then we did a prototype, and then I went to the mines of Bihar and tested it. If you have been to a coal mine, how many of you have been to a coal mine?
Coal mines.
I mean, not open cast, but underground. It's an amazing experience, you know. Once you go in, you are...
KGF we have seen.
Okay.
Gold mine.
Oh, gold mine, okay. I went to coal mines. So firstly, you're scared about methane. So you can't... Our prototype had to be completely free of... If it falls, there should be no sparks. So we had aluminium casing, but we had to put rubberized stuff around it. So it was a very interesting thing. Then I came to IIM Bangalore in 85.
So your electronics?
Yeah, I'm electronics and communication engineer. But I've forgotten all of it. So don't quiz me. Don't quiz me.
You went to IIT at the end of 11th standard.
Yes, he's right. The board exam was after 11. So we had 9th, 10th, 11th, one board exam. Not 10 plus 2.
I have my friend who went to
CBSE. So I was 16 years old, exactly 16 when I landed up in Banaras, and ragging was allowed at that time. So we were ragged heavily, heavy ragging. And then when we came to second year, 1975, emergency was declared, ragging banned. So we could not rag. Anyway, this is all story. So I will say 85 is when I came back to Bangalore as a student. So I would say adulthood. And 85 to 87 I was here. Then I joined the Tata Group of companies in the software business. That took me to France and Mexico and USA. So I would say my professional growth period was 85 to 98 when I traveled the world. Of course, I was in India also in between for 3 years. I came back, I got married. My wife is from BMS. In fact, after marriage, I found out she was also from KV Hebbal, same school, but we didn't know each other then because there was a gap of some 6 years. So that was the time when I really, learned so much. And I have to thank the Tata Group for what they gave me. They gave me a system to work and think, and the value system was very strong. So when I struck out on my own in a small startup in Los Angeles, and I came back to India in 98. So my next phase is when ambitions start peaking, so we set up a startup in USA. I came back to India. I set it up in Noida along with a colleague, and we hired the first 3-4 people. It was like, coming from a Tata Group company where everything is taken care of. I had a secretary in the US, Philadelphia, shared secretary. We couldn't afford but she was shared between me and my boss, Terry, I remember her name. But here, there was everything you had to do yourself. So it was a major mind shift. So that happened. So I used to shuttle between Delhi and Los Angeles. And for that period of time, I ran the company using my value systems of the Tata Group. Thanks to JRD Tata, Ratan Tata, both gentlemen I have met in flesh and blood. So it was an amazing experience. Then from 2005 to 2020, I switched gears. I moved away from the software industry, but became a soft skills trainer. And that's when I met Venkat. I think I met Venkat in 2004, 3 or 4.
No, 2002.
Okay, 2.
3 was the book.
Okay. Yeah, so I had already started thinking of leaving the corporate world. My 2 daughters were in school, so I thought I need to spend more time with them because I was traveling a lot, Europe, USA, and I was missing as a dad. So I decided to resign as managing director of my company, but I told the board I will not quit immediately. I'll phase myself out over a 2-year period. So we found a successor, and he joined, and then every 6 months I cut down my involvement and salary by 25%. So from 100 to 75 after 6 months, then 50, then 25, and then finally in 2005 I made it 0 and I exited after serving for 3 months as a consultant. That was just small formality. So then I switched gears to coming into education, the kind of things he talked about, small experiments with testing, and I started doing training. He trained me on how to think without ink, that concept, and then I used to train students in Delhi, Noida, etc. And we got some students into IIM, Ahmedabad, XLRI, but we had small batches, so it was very personalized training that we did. From there, I got invited to many universities to speak and train students. From there, faculty development, and finally I was invited to be an advisor to some universities. So I'm currently on the board of a university in Ahmedabad called Indus University for the last 8-9 years. I also am advisor to GLA University. My talk is principally around that university and how we built the ecosystem there. So North India and Delhi has been my focus. And now in the last 6 years, USA has appeared again on the map because my younger daughter has gone to do her PhD in neuroscience at the University of Wisconsin, Madison. So I have been visiting USA for 4 or 5 months to be with her. My wife and I often go there. My elder daughter is in Bangalore, by the way, and her story is also quite unique, from mechanical engineering to going to ISC for Master of Design in Product Design and Manufacturing, to falling in love with theatre on the campus of ISC and saying no to jobs and starting a theatre. And then now she's into films, and recently her movie Father's Day in Kannada was released on the 17th of July, and I came here mainly to be there for the release, and I've stayed back. So she is now into films and theatre and arts. So I would say this has been my experimental detours. I recently started teaching some online courses for the US, for a US university, and then they invited me to come and visit. So from Jan to May I was there teaching a course on computational innovation and technopreneurship. Very small class size. You will laugh at the class size. 4 students, that's all. But fortunately all 4 came up with ideas, and they are now working on their startup. They may not end up making anything out of it, but at least their mindset is like that. Where I'll go from here, I don't know. I'm at a phase of my life where I'm having a ball. I'm really enjoying life. I play volleyball on weekends, Saturday, Sunday in Noida, and when I come to KV Hebbal, I still play. Okay, so
You can come to USA.
yeah, okay, yeah. Today morning I was at CIT, Cambridge Institute of Technology. I saw the quote. I measured the height and all, that's my natural thing. My wife jokes with me, wherever I drive, anywhere in the US or in India, in 100 meters if there's a volleyball court, my sixth sense will tell me. I'll say, oh, there's a volleyball court there, there's a volleyball court there. Anyway, too much of myself now. Now let's come to the topic. And it's about how, quite by accident, we started something in a remote town called Mathura. I had never heard of this university, by the way. I was busy with my life, running a software company, but once somebody from that university came to me saying, please come to our campus, hire our students. I said, I have so many colleges and universities in Noida, why will I go to Mathura, 2 hours away? But they were persistent, so I ended up going there. Long story short, I felt good about the place. I'm not religious, by the way, so nothing to do with Krishna or Janma Bhumi or anything like that. I just felt that these people were humble, they wanted to learn. The students were simple, and they had a lot of handicap. They couldn't speak English. They didn't even know very basic concepts of entrepreneurship that a Delhi student would know. So I decided, and I won't read any of this, but I'll tell you, and you can keep looking at the slides. One more thing I have done is I have not changed the slides from what they were when I presented this a few years ago. So I used to present it to different students, to faculty, to tell them how it all began. So I've retained that. I might have changed the fonts and all, but largely the text is the same. And dates, etc. are also same. I'll tell you where we are. So around 2015-16, actually I had gone to do a TED talk. I had gone to Ladakh, and it was more for adventure, but I was invited to do a TEDx talk. So that talk, one of the students of this university saw, Mohit Tripathi, and he said, sir, can't we have this here in our university? I said, go ahead, why not? So let's bring TEDx GLAU and let's make it happen. So it started from there, and he was quite persistent, and I didn't meet him for like a few months. It was all on Facebook Messenger chat and all that. I still might have those chats. So we started talking about entrepreneurship. He was kind of a boy, third year computer science, who did not want a job. He said, I want to start something. And I felt that this was the energy that had to be tapped into. So I said, you know what, why don't we create a small team? I said, find out from your class or otherwise, who are the students who are interested. So we started with 6 students, and we did a soft launch of what is called the E-cell, the entrepreneurship cell. We coined it. Then I asked them to design a logo. Everything was done by the students. I was only acting as a mentor. And we didn't know where it will end up. We said we'll keep trying and see what happens. So in the beginning we had about 100 plus members. We made it free, no charges, because we said if you put 200 rupees also, students will rather go and eat a pizza than become a member of the E-cell. So we had to lower the barriers to entry. And that's what we did. And we did a soft launch. All these 3 people that I brought were friends of mine. So I convinced them. One was in HCL at that time, president of the entire Asia, Middle East, Africa, Pacific regions. Unfortunately, Dr. R. Raghunandan is no more. He passed away about 3 years ago. He was with the JSS group. All of you must be aware of the Mysore JSS group. And he was the first CEO of the incubator that JSS built in Noida. It was funded by the government, and one MD of Dabur Ayurved. All these people did was they spoke to the students assembled there, and they told them about how their own journey had happened, what did they learn from various aspects of working. Then I'm going to kind of speed up because there's a 1 hour window, and you will see some graphics also. Don't think it will all be text. These are early days, so I'm using text. So after the soft launch, I realized that nothing sustains if you don't push it and you don't provide it the momentum. So the first thing was to get the senior management and the promoters to believe in this and to start investing some money. It's a private university. To top it all, it is run by Agarwals, who are called Lalas. So the Lala mindset is there. It is being recorded, that's okay. we all know that they count money very, very closely. But fortunately, I had the support of the Vice Chancellor, who is now the Vice Chancellor. He was not, Professor Anup Gupta. He gave me the freedom to experiment, and he gave me a free hand. And he said, you try it. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, so be it. So the entrepreneurial mindset is what we used in trying to create this E-cell. So I also realized that if we run it, it's not going to work. We have to make the students run it. Now the students didn't have the confidence. So we said, don't worry, we will create an e-cell which is going to be for the students, by the students, of the students. So it's like democracy, right? And I wanted to build a culture rather than build a structure. Structure will happen, but you need to build the culture. Mutual respect, challenging each other, challenging me as a mentor. I told them, you've got to challenge anybody, because an entrepreneur cannot survive in the world if he is not constantly challenging himself or herself. I also told them to look at the e-cells of IITs, IIMs, BITS Pilani, where things had been set up 10, 15 years ago. So we started with very small events, and we got the student council excited about holding these events. Mohit Tripathi, the boy who started the chat with me, he had the energy, he had the kind of, personality. So he was selected as the first president, and then I asked him to get people from other branches. I didn't want all computer science, because innovation should not be limited to computer science. Unfortunately, in today's world, most colleges have only computer science, and the other branches, mechanical, civil, electrical, are all facing the kind of a decline. And then we had to identify faculty mentors. At that time, no faculty was interested in this. Sir, you are from the college, right? They only wanted to teach, and they said, what is this entrepreneurship? Why do you want, who should I mentor? These kids have to study. You are asking them to experiment with ideas. This is not the time. They have to study. They have to get their core principles and fundas ready. So it was a good point, but I was able to get one or two people. But as you will see, those people did not last. Some left the organization. So I had to again invest in another faculty. So okay, what happened? Wi-Fi stuff, maybe? This thing was not there on my slide. Okay, maybe it'll refresh very soon. Yeah, okay, good. That's gone. So you don't have to worry about the names, but you can just see how the structure was. We said the first 1 or 2 years is going to be about awareness creation. So it should look, quote unquote, sexy to the student that this is something new. This is something that's gonna be the future. So we created media and publicity department, campus affairs, data analysis. I told them from the very beginning, data is king. So you have to capture things. We also created some ways of making things long lasting. So meetings used to happen. These kids did not know the concept of MOM. What is minutes of meeting? So I said, no, you will have to write minutes of meeting. So I have got a sample of minutes of meeting. Look at the date, August 13, 2015, 11 p.m. 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Oh yeah. So we had it in the night. So that was another thing we did. Students used to be very busy during the day. I used to go for 2-3 days and stay in the guest house. So I said, we will do it after dinner. Now the excitement of doing something at night is great for students. They love it. You do it from 10 to 12, great. 1 o'clock. I used to play table tennis with them at 1 o'clock after the meeting in their hostel. So they connected with me very quickly. So chief mentor, yeah, okay, members present. And I told them you have to record things. So this is just an example. Then they became very good at it. The first few MOMs I used to critique, spelling mistakes, formatting errors. Then they realized that this mentor is not going to be happy with errors in the MOMs. So then after the second year, third year, they used to make perfect MOMs. So that was another thing that, now this events calendar, you don't have to go into any details, but you will see that we were trying to get them to experience the journey of an entrepreneur. We would get them from Delhi. We couldn't afford to get them from Bangalore. We couldn't afford to get them from Bombay. But Delhi, I convinced the management, you have to pay for the car up and down, hospitality. If they're staying the night, we'll take care of them. And some honorarium. Many of them didn't want an honorarium, but they were happy coming to a place like Mathura. And we would also organize a trip to the Taj Mahal because that was an asset. Very few universities had Taj Mahal within an hour's drive. Mm-hmm. So that was a kind of a icing on the cake to them. So darshan of the temples, Krishna Janmabhoomi. So we would all package that into an experience for them. We had open house sessions. We launched TEDx Live, GLA, the first one. In fact, I was one of the speakers there. But to do this, there was a condition by TED New York They said you first have to attend virtually a live TED event, not TEDx, but TED, the main event. So it was happening in Vancouver. And the time zone, you know, Vancouver is on the west coast of USA, I mean North America. So we were in the night. So we got the whole hall filled with girls and boys who stayed awake to listen live to TED Talks from Vancouver. So everything was, becoming very, very catchy for the student. They were able to stay. Girls got permission to stay out of the hostel at night. They have curfew hours there in Mathura. It's a small town. Parents object if girls are allowed to stay outside. I've been fighting because I went to IIT Kanpur, where girls' hostel was accessible 24/7. We could go into the girls' hostel, be with our friends in their rooms. But that mentality cannot work in Mathura. By 6:45, 7, they are asked to go in. So when we did this, we got special permission. Some more events followed, social entrepreneurship program. So we asked them to go to the village nearby. We said local communities are important. You have to solve problems of local communities. Just thinking of some Chandrayaan and all is okay, but what about the gutter that is in the village? Can you find a robotic way of cleaning that gutter or some other method? So there's a village there. We got a gentleman by Deepak Gadia to come all the way from Gujarat to talk about solar energy because he runs a whole solar farm. Then we got people, we did an IPL mock auction because IPL was catching on at that time. So we told students how to do optimal capital allocation. So we started them off with some funds and they had to actually bid for players, and we created this. And the students only created the software for it, the software to run the IPL mock auction. Then I had I got to know about two French cyclists who were going around the world, Theo and Simon, on water, cycle for water. So I convinced them to come and stay in Mathura and address the students. So it was amazing. For them also it was an amazing experience. They said we were not planning to be in a city like Mathura, but when they talked to the students, it was very good. So I would say this was when we started creating a buzz about entrepreneurship. The ecosystem was not yet on the horizon. It was just an e-cell. It was just a group of students getting crazy about the idea of entrepreneurship.
One question, sir.
Yeah, sure.
That the initial set of students
Yeah.
created along
Yeah.
with you others,
Yeah.
they continued to be studying there or they had completed it?
No, they were students. They were students.
Just continuing to be students.
No, they were students. So he graduated. Mohit graduated after 4th year. But for 1.5 years he was there. In his final year, he was the president, and Dhruv Dhingra was a mechanical student who was vice president. Next year, their juniors took over. The one more thing I wanted to kind of share is, we made selection to this e-cell very, very rigorous. So there was like, in corporate you get interviewed and all that. So we would have group discussion, then interviews, and in the beginning, I used to interview along with the faculty mentors. But from 3rd year onwards, I said, you senior students will interview the incoming. So the outgoing team will interview the incoming one. And then I give them some guidelines. For example, you have to go by merit. So we had a rubric. Yeah, checklist. So you will not get in a close friend just because he's your close friend. And sometimes, at that age, and if they know there's a girlfriend, they want to bring the girlfriend into the e-cell. Because they will work together, she will get permission to be outside late. So we had to keep all that also in mind. So the meritocracy had to prevail. That is the message we sent them. So again, few things here, exciting competitions. So, we had a total prize money of 1 lakh rupees. I got the management to agree for giving up to that much in prizes, because money does make a difference. So we also had mega events. Then kids were very fond of the viral fever, TVF. So we got the founder, Arunabh Kumar, to come in the first e-summit. So from e-cell, we created an e-summit. Later, we made it an e-conclave. So, slowly we kept growing. Fast forward to 2017. So I'm taking you to 2017. In 2017, we were fortunate to be shortlisted among 9 institutions in the country, where ISBA stands for Indian STEP stands for Software Technology Entrepreneurship Park. and Business Incubators Association and a German agency GIZ, which was trying to promote entrepreneurship in Indian campuses. So we had to make presentations. So I remember it was in Lonavala, Pune. So I went along with 2 faculty members. They were only inviting faculty, they were not inviting students at that point. So we 3 went, and I remember we had to work through the night almost till 3 a.m. and we made a presentation the next day, and our presentation was shortlisted, and we were then suggested as they mentored us for free. So that was a big thing, and students were getting to know what is a university incubator. They didn't know what is an incubator. Entrepreneurship itself they didn't know, but now they started getting to feel the excitement of entrepreneurship. And then that year we became also a member of the Wadhwani Foundation's National Entrepreneurship Network. Romesh Wadhwani is an IIT Bombay alumnus who has created an ecosystem for training Indian students on entrepreneurship. He lives in the US. I'm not even sure if he's alive. Hopefully he is. But I have met him once. Very, very sound gentleman. And so we became part of that network. So you can see that we are in 3 years into the thing, we are now trying to take risks. We're going and doing the NEN. We also became partners with iMade, Integrated Mobile Application Development Ecosystem. A lot of this was happening because I was also connected to different people in different industries. So the CEO of this was known to me. I brought him, and then by 2017 our 6-member team had expanded to a 26-member expanded student council called 2.0, selected from about 140 applicants. In 2015 nobody knew about entrepreneurship, but now there were 140 students wanting to be part of the council, the student council running the ECEL. There were 7 faculty mentors who were taken from different departments. And we also launched TEDx GLAU. We got the license from TED New York, and we were able to do that in 2016, which is close to the 16-17 academic calendar. So you can see that the slow growth is now it's gathering momentum. That we started talking about the vision. And it happens with every startup, right? In the beginning, you don't talk about vision. You are only worried about business. How to get business, how to get revenues going. And then when you are about 50 people, then you say, oh, should we have a vision now? So this is when we all sat together. I involved the students, and we said we will do a visioning exercise. And that's where this vision statement was born. You will see that the year listed there is 2025, because back in 2017, we were trying to project for the next 8 years. To become by 2025 a vibrant hub of entrepreneurial activity in the northern Indian region, not just the Mathura region, but the northern Indian. So we were dreaming big. As you all know, a vision has to be ambitious. If it is very, very routine, then it doesn't inspire. Such that local entrepreneurs drawn from students, faculty, staff and other local communities are able to incubate, nurture and grow business ideas into full-fledged companies with a high market presence. The vision is to have at least 100 companies graduated from the GLAU ECEL incubator by 2025. Verbatim, I have not made a single change. This was what the students came up with through discussion with mentors and everybody. So you will realize that these are 3rd year, 4th year students, right? They are now beginning to think like that. Mission statements. We said, okay, vision is fine. Now what are the mission statements? So we categorized them into mission awareness, mission engagement, mission incubation, mission growth. Without awareness, there is no engagement. So the first was awareness, which we were anyway doing. So we were in that phase. The engagement part was the ECEL will direct its focus and attention on engaging with aware students and faculty so that they are able to take part in business planning, modeling and startup activities with enthusiasm and speed. So the engagement is the next tier. It's like steps. You go from awareness to engagement, then only the incubation starts. When people come with business ideas, then we will get them to startups. We created a space where students could work during the night. We tried to keep it 24/7, but we didn't get permission, so it was like till midnight. You'd be open till midnight, then you could come back next day, that kind of a thing. So all of this was done in a stepped manner, I'm trying to take you through the journey in terms of time and also the activities that took place. I also told the students that no organization survives without a set of core values. Something I learned in the Tatas and something I implemented in my own startup, software startup. There we had 5 core values. Here the students came up with 6. So community service. Your startup must solve some community problem. Entrepreneurship is a core value because you are entrepreneurs going to be excellence. Don't do something shoddy. Fairness. Be fair in selection of employees or in anything you do. Be fair. Integrity and be result oriented, not effort oriented. Because in India we often focus on effort. I work through the weekend, but nobody says I created bug-free code. That's an outcome. That's a result. So we try to do this. Then we set goals and activities. Before this, we were doing things, but it was not in a structured manner. So now we said we have a vision, we have a mission, we have core values. Now set the goals for the next calendar year. So this is all done by students with a little bit of mentorship. Under mission awareness, we said organize e-talks by successful entrepreneurs. Under mission engagement, mock IPL auctions, mock stock trading simulations, ideate workshops, GLAU event, TEDx, etc. Then we launched the NEN Global Blended Learning Model, mission engagement. So 2-3 faculty were sent to Bangalore NEN was headquartered in Bangalore to get trained, and then they started teaching entrepreneurship to students. It was not a very big success because the faculty were not really tuned to the idea. So they were trying to say something which they didn't believe in. But they had 300 students being trained. I didn't like it, but at least the students got something out of it. Those profs are still there and they got a lot out of it. Slowly they realized that just being technical and theoretical is not going to help. So then they started working with startups, etc. So, and mission incubation, we actually started Udyamita scheme of the government. We brought it to the campus and we started mentoring students to do startups and incubate them. Our e-summit happened. I think something is missing here, it's not refreshing. And then we finally set up an e-cell incubator under the mentorship of ISBA, the body of the Association of Entrepreneurial Ecosystems, and NEN. And we also tied up with IIT Delhi as a mentor because we are only about 2 hours away from IIT Delhi. So I hope I'm not boring you. I'm almost done. We can have Q&A after that. So the next milestone was 2021 when, so every ECEL student council we used to call 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. So here I'll tell you, I'll take a small break to tell you how success can lead to failure. 1.0 was an experiment. 2.0, as you saw, 140 applicants for 26 positions. Third became even more vibrant. We were getting really good students coming in. Now these students, while they were working for the ECEL, they were acquiring a lot of good skills, actual skills. So their resume would say Vice President ECEL or campus ambassador, whatever. Now in the interviews, they found that most recruiters like Infosys, HCL and all that who used to come, Cognizant, they would get stuck on, oh, tell us more about this. And they would spend almost 10 to 15 minutes talking about what they actually did. Organizing of TEDx or holding an e-summit. They would get hired. So it was like entrepreneurs are getting hired. So Microsoft came for the first time and they selected out of their entire process, they came up with 9 offers. Out of those 9 offers, 5 were from the ECEL. That means people who had taken up positions in ECEL. And when I spoke to them, they said, well, in the resume, once they saw that, they only asked us about it. And we spoke from the confidence of having done things. We were not cooking up anything. So we got selected.
One more question.
Yeah.
Why did they go for the interviews first of all, for the recruitment?
Yeah. So they are part of the ECEL. They are not entrepreneurs.
Right.
They are part of the ECEL, and for any student, a job is a backup, right? So they will not attend. They will attend. So Microsoft came, hired 9, 5 of them So by 4.0, what started happening was people started looking at it as a channel to get hired into good companies. So the wrong kind of people started applying. So it was like, okay, join ECEL, job is assured. So the success,
Confidence with them.
yeah.
They can able to.
Why it has happened?
Yeah. So then by 5.0, I started seeing, turf wars, the teamwork was breaking down, because now they are like not working together, they are worried, they are fighting, they've become competitive for jobs. So from 5, 6, it started going down, the value system also. So I often say our success in the first 4 years led to the failure of the next 3 years. So by the time we came to 7.0, we were becoming very, very disappointed with the youth. And I think this was also around the time when the pandemic happened. So the pandemic was another blow, because people were not social anymore. They were working remotely and they were making very, very bad calls on various things. So I was very, very disappointed. But then I organized kind of a question forum with the team. I asked them, how does it feel to know about the history? So I told them about the past. I said, this is the kind of past you guys have had, and tell us today, how do you feel about it? What do you think of the vision that we created 5 years ago? Do we need to change it? I threw it out to them. Do you think we should change the core values? Maybe we are not succeeding because our core values no longer mean anything, or our vision has become outdated. Do you think you need to change something? So I kept telling them, you got to question yourself. You are no longer the vibrant body that we had seen in the first 4 years. So I challenged them, and we did one more exercise. We said about the core values. It was agreed unanimously. All the students, after a lot of discussion, they said, let's not change the core values. We have to come back to it. If we are not following it, that's our fault. But the steering system is correct. The 6 core values should retain. So it was decided on December 10, 2021. I have not changed any date. Now comes the ecosystem. So far it's an ECEL. Now we realize that we have to upgrade it, because we were getting government grants. So we created what is called GENI, which stands for GLAU Ecosystem for Nurturing Innovation and Entrepreneurship. If you take the first letters of this phrase, this was coined by me, though I told the students you should come up with more options. So the students came with more options, but finally they said, sir, this looks magical. So when you rub GENI, will come out, and this is where now we are even today. We call it GENI, but it has grown. Okay.
Doing fast actually.
Okay. So what is GENI? It's an integrated, comprehensive entrepreneurship ecosystem that acts like an umbrella to our organization and event. So now we have grown. We have an incubator, we have a startup launchpad, we have TEDx. So different students are now doing these things. So we want to put it under one umbrella. So that's what we call GENI. By the way, another sidetrack is in 2012, I enrolled for a PhD at the Delhi University at the ripe old age of 54 or something. So initially my topic that I chose was excellence in Indian higher education, because I was very, very saddened by the poor quality of higher education in India. So I thought I'll do something about it. But after 1 year of literature review and all that, when I made a presentation to the research committee, they said, you are trying to do too much. This is like 2 PhDs, so just bring it down. So in the process of bringing down, I said, I must pick something that I'm anyway doing. So my topic for the PhD then in the second year was decided as entrepreneurship ecosystems in higher education institutions in India. That was the topic I chose. I used my knowledge here. I did a lot of research, primary and all that. So it was like using my own like SWOT analysis. If you do, I had this already in my hand. So it was a smarter way of doing a PhD. Getting into excellence in Indian higher education, it was like groping, an elephant and getting tail and getting the head and all that. So we did this, we created GENI, we brought in people, organization structure, and then I told the students, here is the comparison, I'm sharing this with you. The ECEL was an organization, GENI is an ecosystem. This was the foundation, that is the superstructure. This was internal focus. We are now both internal and external focused because we are getting investors to come to the campus now. We are getting NASCOM to come and visit us. So we are also external focused. Limited authority to students in ECEL, higher authority to students in the ecosystem. There's more to do for them, and we are letting them spend money and come up with budgets and all that, what they require. By the way, we also had, this is again a sidetrack, we had some students who misutilized the freedom and they spent money wrongly, unethically. We came down very hard on them because I said this cannot be tolerated, because we are teaching you to be entrepreneurs, you have to be ethical entrepreneurs. So as soon as we found out, we made an example of 2-3 of them, and you know, they are students. It was very small amount, like they were just taking, like if they had brought some guests to a hotel, they would inflate the bill and pocket 3,000. 3,000 they will use for some maybe beer or something they will do. So I said, if you ask, we will give you the money to do it. But if you do these things, about 2-3 times it happened. And so we tried to give students higher authority but also hold them accountable. Low alumni involvement, now we wanted to move to high alumni involvement. The beauty was the same students who were students had become alumni. Now they wanted to give back. They wanted to come back and talk to their juniors. So I said we must have higher alumni involvement. Dependent on funding, for funding on management, we are trying to become self-sufficient. We have not achieved that goal yet. We are trying. Higher representation of engineering, only CS. Here we want wider representation. Biotech should come in. Even law and others, you can have entrepreneurs coming from the law department. Why not? So wider representation. Limited incubation focus, high incubation focus. Low investor interest, no interest. Investors don't come to an ECEL, but they come to an ecosystem where startups are beginning to form. So this was one comparison. I'm not getting into details, but what you should try to see is the way we were thinking. We were trying to tell the students, think of a structure, think of federalism, think of an ecosystem that has powers given to different units, and it is not totally centralized. Because if you have total centralization, then power corrupts, as you all know. So whether it's a faculty or a student, as soon as you centralize power, it becomes too bad. So we tried to create a central hub and spoke model, which is on the next slide. This is the vision. So forget this we have already covered. We changed a little bit because we had become an ecosystem. But now you look at it, how that one ECEL has grown into a government-funded center for innovation and entrepreneurship development. 2.85 crores given to us to give to students, teams for prototype development. Each team could get 2.5 lakhs. It's a government scheme. We didn't do anything except run it. But we got it, we won it. The Institution Innovation Council became a body instituted by the government. TEDx GLAU was another brand property in the real estate we had. ECEL, LinkedIn Local. We created a LinkedIn Local. It's a concept of LinkedIn to bring people in physical forms. I think this happened around the pandemic time, so they wanted people to meet physically. So there was chapters like Mathura. So we would bring people from LinkedIn to come and talk about something. So we started that. There was a Bangalore-based body called Mentor Together. The CEO was my friend, Bhaskar Sharma. So I got them to come in. It didn't succeed. 1 year and then somehow students didn't sign up for it. So we had failures also, but you can see now the ecosystem is built of multiple entities. I won't go into this. It's basically you will see how we are trying to now tell people about the ecosystem. We are telling them to think beyond just an ECEL. This was the structure. If you look at it very, very high level, now there are heads of different finance and culture, corporate relations, student relation, and we've created a hub and spoke model. So faculty and alumni mentors will fan out into different directions depending on their expertise. Some people will mentor on website, some on data MIS, some will do finance, etc. And then there were coordinators. Apart from the head, we had coordinators. So you can see that we are now beginning to become more structured in our approach to building the ecosystem. And today, now this is actually as of now, today the university has grown, because if the university doesn't grow, such ecosystems don't last. I hope you understand that. Because they need money, right? Everything. If admissions go down, we would not have succeeded. But fortunately, you could say maybe it was a virtuous cycle. The news of the ECEL and the placements reached the students and they came to get admitted. So we have grown to 20,000. Actually, the 19,000 is also been surpassed. 20,000 students and some of the things that happened at the university. So this is about the host institution, the GLA University Mathura, where I am an advisor to the Chancellor, Chief Mentor of the ECEL. I am also Chief Mentor of Sports. So I have taken it from 2 coaches to 13 coaches in the last 7 years. We have almost all games played there: cricket, football, basketball, volleyball, table tennis, badminton, handball, kabaddi, then powerlifting, all of that. So I kept telling the promoters to invest in sports because sports builds character and it teaches you so many things that an entrepreneur needs. Stamina itself is a very important element of entrepreneurship. So we have, and I'm also chief mentor of a more recent recent campaign to have tie-ups with US universities. So that's called Pratham, but I won't talk about that here. A bird's eye view of the campus. This is the pictorial view, and what you see there in this red here is the ECEL and the incubators and all that are located there. This is the main gate from where we enter. It's right on the highway. If you're going from Delhi to Agra and you're taking the Delhi-Agra highway, it is bang on the highway. So that's where it is. And this is a new block where a Capgemini Code Experience Center has been set up. The business school has moved here. So this is a much better building.
Where is the guest house where we are
Guest
going
house.
to stay when you invite us?
Yeah, that's here.
And where is Agra and Mathura?
Mathura, Vrindavan is here. So Vrindavan is just 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away. And Mathura is slightly 17 kilometers away and Agra is 60 kilometers.
From last 8 years, you invite me.
Yeah, you have to rise to the occasion. Okay, snapshot of past experience. So we have now got in Feb 2021, the UP government gave up a startup, some funding. One more thing, governments say a lot but do very little. So we realized that with the UP government. You have been selected, you're getting this funds don't arrive, and we promise the students and then it's a mess. This
All government is ready.
Yeah, I know. Maybe Karnataka also is same. But at least Bangalore has a better ecosystem. Hyderabad has a better ecosystem. So people can fight and say. And sometimes some secretaries sent to Bangalore, Hyderabad and all are little sensible. But you won't find that in UP. And many governments are actually outsourcing this to KPMG and some of these consulting firms. So that's another mediator that you have to work with. So I'm not very happy with the way these grants are given, but we have to live with the system. So we have been doing that very recently, as recent as 3 months ago. GLA University has become the first Microsoft India Gen AI campus and Google's first in North India Agentic AI University campus. So this is likely to give us about 10 crores has been invested in labs for these 2 partners, and we are hoping that in the next few years we'll have many more entrepreneurs coming up with ideas to solve community problems using AI. So that's a big investment, and we also want to promote women entrepreneurship. About 30% of the university students are women, and we have been shortlisted for the inclusive TBI, Technology Business Incubator for women entrepreneurs. So we did a study of the gender gap in UP, and this was, by the way, not done by me. Now we have a good team. This is a spelling mistake. Should have been OPPO. I just noticed it. This was done by the team. So now, as a mentor, I don't get involved. For the last 5-6 years, I on the phone. If I'm in the US, virtually I guide them. But we have a good team. That is my last kind of point. You need to have a good team. We realized through experience that faculty members do not make a good incubation manager. Their priorities are different. So we tried with one faculty member. he changed. It took time. I had to work with him for about 3 years. Then he got the taste. And now he says, I don't want to teach. I want to go to places where I can set up such ecosystems. He has left us to go to a central university, a government university in Chhattisgarh. So he's trying to set it up there. So training a faculty member to become an incubation head is very tough. And this was told to me by none other than Dr. Raghunandan, my late friend, who himself was a faculty at JSS and who became a CEO of an incubation. And he said, I have been a teacher and I know, I don't think, unless I change my mindset completely, I cannot be a good CEO of an incubator. So we have hired a young chap, Ravi Kumar Tiwari. He's heading it. I identified him from another university, saw him, met him at a ISBA conference. I kept after him. Finally, I convinced him to move to Mathura. He came, he was there for about 3 years, built up the system, hired 1 or 2 other people, but he was poached by a university in Madhya Pradesh. His wife was from that region. So he moved because closer to in-laws, wife said. He went there. It was a private university with 6,000 students, but he said on any given day, not more than 600 students are on the campus. Later, I kept in touch with him. And slowly I convinced him over a period of 1 year. Now he's back with us. And he says, now I'm not going to leave. I'm going to be here. His wife also realized that his son and his wife had better, because that place was a little away from city. So she realized for education of the child. And so I tried to tell them that think about the holistic approach to your child's education. From Mathura, I told him, you need not stay here all your life. After 5 years, go to the NCR. When your kid is in class 8th, go to NCR and join some other university as the CEO of that incubation system. Your chances are better than being somewhere near Raipur or some very small Bilaspur or some place. So he is now back with us. So this entire presentation is by him. He does a great job, and he out after 2 years of effort. Now he has a good team, and I'm trying to get him one more person. In fact, that person is in Bangalore. I interviewed him about 1.5 years when I came here, but the salary and all is not working out, but we'll figure out. So this is just a snapshot that we presented to the ministry about how UP, you realize the UP map, actually Mathura is here, GLA, here. And this doesn't cover only UP, this covers UP, but it covers Rajasthan and Haryana also. So we told the government, we can make an impact in 3 states. Whereas look at Lucknow, this institution, they will make an impact within UP. So we are geographically located. This point I gave to this incubation manager. I said, make it a point to say we can service 3 states. So any central government will feel at least, okay, you guys are going to do more. Anyway, we are waiting for the results. Okay, I'm going to end now. So all these are data. I mean, you can just take a look at it. Some pictures are there, I told you. So these are, this is the one that we created. This is the government funded IEDC, New Gen IEDC, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Center. If you go there, it is built, just like this place is a very creative feel to it, right? The way Venkat has created this. So there also you will find there are bean bags, there are lights coming from the top and different shapes and sizes. The tables are in a very unique shape. They are not circular, they are like butterfly wings, like that. So we gave the architect some extra freedom and extra money. The chancellor was not happy about that extra money being spent, but I said no. This must look different than the rest of the campus. The student, once he comes there, should feel this is not a classroom, right? So bean bags, 3D printer, all that is there. All right, I think I'm done. Oh, we also did well at the Smart India Hackathon. We have had 2 teams winners at 2022, 2024 winner, grand finale, all of this. This is all done by Ravi Tiwari, so I don't think I have the competence to talk about it, but I only now encourage them. I give them a pat on the back. My role is very minimal now. It's these guys who are doing it. All credit to them. So there are flagship events like Techstar is a hackathon group that does one young employee that we hired, Deepak Sharma, he was very excited about it. So I said, go ahead, bring it to Mathura. So he did that in 2025. So we are talking today now. This is how the ecosystem is today. In February, AI Nirman 2026 Gen AI Hackathon was done. Now investors have started coming in as jury members. Earlier we found it very difficult to get them. So they are beginning to see that the seeds that we had sown 10 years ago, 11 years ago are beginning to bear fruit. This is Ravi Tiwari, the gentleman I spoke about. This gentleman we hired in February of this year. I was in the US, so virtual interviews, but he's doing a good job. He's been exposed to IIT Kanpur's ecosystem, IIT Delhi's ecosystem. His name is Aditya. So these both are very strong. And then we have Jitendra there, who is more of a clerical kind of a guy. And there is Deepak Sharma. I think there on that is Aditya and Deepak Sharma. Deepak Sharma is a 27-year-old young chap. He goes around with long hair, Bermudas. So we give him that, and he connects well with the students. These guys are more outward facing. So he is now, I told him, you travel around, go to Hyderabad, go to Bangalore. You be the face of this ecosystem. This fellow will take care of incubation, investor relations, etc. And Deepak will take care of student activation. The e-cell is under Deepak because he's young, he's got that charisma. Students, really worship him. But he's also very temperamental. So sometimes he will go into mood swings. So one has to deal with that. So to close, this is how the ecosystem genie looks today. There's the e-cell. Sparkle, it's not Spark, but Sparkle is actually something that we created. It's a society now. So it's Chapter 8 and all that. It can get CSR funding, etc. Startup Launchpad, that's the government funded new gen. So I think I'm done. This is just some numbers. So I hope I finished on time, about an hour. I'm open to questions. Yeah.
You had set an objective by 2002.
Yeah. Yes, very good question.
How did you?
We didn't fare well. We had set 100 startups incubated. We are now not even 45 in 26.
Now that this is the reality. It happens.
Yeah.
We obviously objective should not be 100%.
Yeah, because then it's not
Stretch.
stretch. Yeah.
Also, who came up with that? Do you have a syllabus for this? To build the entrepreneurs, you need to create some kind of material. How do you train somebody from being a normal academics to? Is there something that
For students or faculty?
For students to learn, but the faculty has to understand that.
So there are entrepreneurship courses, curriculum. So NEN is the one that I told you, National Entrepreneurship Network.
Oh, you use that?
We use them. Yeah. They trained our faculty.
Okay.
They came to Bangalore for about a week, and then they trained the students. But that has limitations. Entrepreneurship cannot be taught from books,
Yeah.
or you have to experience it, right? So it has to be both. That is true. So
You conduct some practicals kind of a workshop.
oh yes, design thinking workshops are held. We do prototyping. We do tinkering kind of things. Hackathon itself is like where
Has that also.
Yeah.
I've heard so much the coding hackathons. What does happen in this hackathon actually?
most hackathons involve solving a problem within a time frame. So we have a team. Yeah. I would say 80% of the hackathons are software related. Because it's only in software that you can create something from prototype to a solution very quickly.
To show.
Yeah, if you have to create a robot, you can't do it in 48 hours or 24 hours. But good question. So teaching entrepreneurship is a challenge in this country. We should have had a lot of investment in faculty training for entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, our governments don't think long term, so they don't want to invest. And private universities also are scared. If we train, and what if he leaves? This is one big problem. I say you have to train. If he leaves, he leaves. At least he will make a better impact somewhere else, and he will say well about your university.
It's like from where you
Where you came, right? Most people are known by where you. We always ask, so where were you teaching earlier? Oh, ISC. Oh, great. You left, but so what? You taught there. So this thought process, I keep telling the owners, but they have short-sighted approach.
No, but actually, when the government gives money to university, whatever you said, to grow,
Yeah.
Who manages the money? If you give 2.5 lakhs to students, or
Yeah, so we have to report,
Ah.
and there is a lot of documentation that is required, and annually we have to make a presentation. So how many did we support? So we got, for example, I think the first year was 60 lakhs or something, out of which 10 lakhs was for institutional expenses and 50 lakhs was 2.5 into 20. So 20 startups, 20 prototypes. But what we did was, we were some students, when they came up with the budget, it was only 60,000 rupees they wanted. So we said, okay, whatever was left, we gave it to more. So instead of 20, 29 prototypes we gave. And still we had some money. Then we negotiated with them. We said we'll buy some central things like 3D printers, which is not meant for one team. So will you allow? Then they said, okay, if you make it less than 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, we'll allow. So we created some common resources using government money only. And after 5 years, the scheme has ended, by the way, 2 years back.
But is there any project where they got the money back somewhere, selling something, selling some ideas?
Yeah, so that is always a question mark. Even the government gets upset and they want to know what is the outcome. But the problem with student entrepreneurship is they are also studying. They are limited in how much market survey they can do. They can't travel out too much. So you can't expect them to have high success rate. But we have had some. And they have to then be given venture capital and, to grow further. So some have broken out.
Actually, scalability is secondary, but if they take up something which is a prototype, which idea itself can be sold to somebody, that itself is more than enough. Or if they solve a community problem.
So I think there are about 22 patents that came out of this 5 years. Now those patents can be commercialized. So we are trying to, one of the alumni, the vice president of ECEL 2.0, he told me, sir, you give it to alumni to commercialize. Because they are experienced, they have money. So we are trying to do that. But again, it's taking time, longer than we thought.
So the VCs who kind of put the money initially, what is their...
Actually, it's angel investors who come in at this level.
But they expect some return on investment, right? What was the social? How do
They expect,
it's more social. They know that. it's
See,
not
angel
a-
investors, first of
not
all,
in terms of tangible, physical.
But
Yeah.
actually the incubation, whatever you said is perfect, but actually our orientation is always to make some business out of it. But if you look at some social contribution, say for example, this circle I want to reduce the traffic with my own AI software and all if they develop, and if it works, my money is really put into use.
Yeah.
So that need not give it to multiplier effect of money coming back. Or I think
but most investors want the X factor.
no, I'm thinking of, say, for example, UBC's alumni base is so strong. Government anyway, not given government money is a problem also. So if there is something where our alumni can develop this cell and make student to contribute with ideas and things, it become a great
So
ecosystem.
I forgot to talk about my PhD, which I did over a period of 6.5 years because my dad fell ill and then he passed away. So for about 1.5 years, I didn't really focus on it. But finally, I managed to submit on the very last day. All of you must be aware of last minute stuff, right? So I finally got my PhD and I created a 7-factor growth model of such ecosystems. There are 7 factors that I identified. So one of them is alumni relations. Very important. So if you bring alumni back, not just for money, but also their skills.
Correct.
So Lakshmi and Saraswati both
Yes.
have to be brought back to your college, your university or whatever you are. And now you make students benefit from that. And you are right, some times you will get multiplier, 10x, but many times it will be social impact. You created a better environment. So there are some prototypes which are soaps which are made from a biodegradable material, I mean not harmful, etc. Then there are students who have done one fellow came up with a treadmill prototype where you are walking and that treadmill operation is also moving the vehicle and it's charging a battery. Multiple things, so you get exercise, you are moving around the campus also. And in fact, one local bicycle vendor, shop guy, Sardarji, he got interested. He ordered some 10 of them. So they made and gave it. So there are some success stories, but they are not scaled to that level. They had limited. So one of the students alone, one diploma student, he was not a degree student also, diploma student. He used to come play volleyball. So I knew him while playing volleyball. He was a short guy, but he had a lot of spirit. So he said, I also want to develop a prototype. What's your idea? He says, I want to develop a automated spiking practice machine for spikers. So he said, sir, you should be my mentor because you play volleyball also. So I said, okay, though I'm not part of the university, I'm not a faculty, but it allows me to be a mentor, okay. So he actually created, it was only 60,000 rupees was his thing. It's just a pole and then there's a hopper which will feed balls. So, and then there is a spring-loaded mechanism. So let's say I jump and I hit it. The first ball I hit, the second one comes in place. Then I hit it again, the third one. So you have about 10 balls. He developed the prototype and apparently he showed it to some universities. Some universities told him, we'll buy this. And some Indian volleyball player said, we haven't seen this, we would like this. So he was even looking for a manufacturing because he can't set up a plant. So I introduced him in Ghaziabad to some people who are like contract manufacturers. But then his studies came in the way. Then he from diploma he moved into engineering. So then his priorities changed, and plus traveling to Ghaziabad and all became tough for him. So that patent is still there.
If any such ideas
Yeah.
which have been taken up by either the investors or the industry to convert it into a production level,
We are still waiting for that to happen. Ravi could tell you better because I have been a little out of touch. But we tied up with NRDC, National Research Development Corporation. It's a government body in Delhi. I went and met the chairperson and all. They are supposed to help commercialize patents and ideas.
I
But
think there has to be one more body.
yeah,
Which is just
sure, yeah,
There are a lot of incubation ideas.
yeah,
And we feel that out of this 45 plus or whatever it is, maybe there are 15 or 20 which we feel that excellent ideas, which is good to get into the market. Right now, some prototype demonstration has been done.
yeah.
But now somebody should take it and then talk to the possible investors or the industry who can convert that into a product
Yeah.
which can get into the market.
Right.
Students, it is difficult because they are there for 4 years, they are busy.
Yeah. See, that's where the alumni role comes in. Alumni has connects, different positions in investor community, CEOs, etc. So alumni can be that bridge between the student ideas, prototypes and commercialization. And you guys have such a huge, I think Jagdish is also your alumnus, right? Yeah, so he's been very active in the space. And there will be many others in the US, Germany, etc. Okay, he had raised his hand.
Just one question. These students they get in, does ECL support them after they leave the college also? Because some projects they have taken,
Yeah.
not a got completed within the 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So they continue with the project.
Yeah, we support.
them?
We support them. The government doesn't support them. Government only supports while they are students. But our university and ecosystem supports them.
They support them.
We support.
They
Yeah,
finalize.
yeah. In fact, I think the promoters of this university, they also invested in that treadmill. It's called Tread Accelerator or something like that. They invested in that company, but it was like 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. Not much. Yeah. Yes, yes.
For example, in the university, you are associated clearly.
Yeah.
Apart from this, once a product is demonstrated, is there a system in the university which can take it forward? As a product, does that, whatever you call it, interacting with the outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I am also associated with some university
Yeah.
where I had gone for a project approval. They all come, make a product, and it stops there.
Yeah.
Okay, there is nobody to take it forward.
Yeah.
And also, group of people doing something, other fellows don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So there will be repetition of activities.
Yes.
So in that scenario, something a common database and next a system which takes it forward with the eye for royalty.
Yeah.
So there's always something give, something take.
Yeah.
Okay, if they promote it, then they will get some royalty. Is there a system worked out?
Right now,
the mind work or the developmental work will be done by the set of people. The product, making it commercializing, another set of group, well within the university, paying. Okay, only then things will work.
yeah, so that is where this ecosystem is trying to do it. We are still not self-sufficient. We are still investing money, and it's not easy to invest 3 crores, 4 crores easily for a private university. It takes effort. I mean, they're saying what is going to come back. The risk is much higher. So you are right. There may be a need for something that is funded, maybe from alumni corpus, where you are allowed to fail, and then you are allowed to take the steps to market it. Marketing is the biggest expense. Building a product is not very difficult.
This is where I saw it disconnect.
Yeah.
Whenever I went for a work. And I think the university is big, but as you rightly told, somebody has to put that money and look forward for what is coming back.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is innovators and entrepreneurs, they love their product too much. They get the idea, then they build it, and then they keep improving it. They don't do any product market fit. And then
So many products fail
because of that, because they did not go to the market and show them and get feedback. So now they're trying to push this product. There's no pull. So that takes money and you waste time. I have been part of one such startup. It was
That's where emotional training is important, because
yes.
even when we do anything, suppose we do the kitchen in our house.
Yeah.
Our objective is to show everyone how we have done the kitchen than what we will make use of.
Yeah.
So finally it will fail.
Yeah.
So
Plus in a kitchen, husband and wife also don't agree how it should be.
It's a human quality. What they come up with an idea, they think that's the best.
Yeah.
Again,
Exactly. So I am part of a startup, an LMS, learning management system, Quampus, Shrikant Acharya. A good guy, but he fell in love with this product. I said, you have to sell it. If you don't sell it, his revenue is static.
that is where in any company, engineering versus marketing, engineers think that what they have done is the best.
Yeah.
But out of 10 such engineering things, how many
Yeah.
projects will you win?
Yeah. Sir,
Very, very interesting journey.
thank you.
One question I have wanted to ask is, what do you think has been the role your family, maybe parent or somebody, played in sort of encouraging? Is it something you sort of discovered all of these things yourself, or was there something which was, hey, this is something we see as a spark in you?
Actually, that's a good question. That's a good question. I was born in an Air Force family, so my dad served only one employer all his life, 37 years. He joined at the age of 18, retired at the age of 55, and so for us, job was the thing to do. I don't know where I got that bug from, but when I left the Tatas, my friend who had just started a startup in Los Angeles. I was in Philadelphia at that time, doing very well. I was the regional manager handling Eastern USA and Canada. And I had at that time in 1996, I had a target of $6 million, which was a lot of money for an Indian company to going into the US. So it was very tough to meet those targets. So when my friend approached me and he said, we are moving now, the client server architecture is coming, mainframes are going out. So this is a great opportunity. So he wanted me to join. And I didn't want to leave Tata's because my next one was country manager. I was regional manager. My boss, country manager, I would have, if I did well, I would have taken his place. And Tata's is a very stable organization, job security.
TCS.
No, it was Tata Burrows, which became Tata Unisys, then Tata Infotech, and then merged with TCS. But I had left them when they were still Tata Unisys. So I was at the Unisys worldwide headquarters in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. That's where we had been given a small office, about this size of office, one common shared secretary. So I was doing well. So I said, I was 42, 43. I said, if I don't take a risk now, when will I? I will retire from Tata's then. So I convinced, my dad was like saying, okay, you decide. I don't know much about this industry. My wife was like, who leaves Tata's? And you are getting a good salary and all. Of course, the startup there, I negotiated, some sweat equity and also a package which was better than this and all that. But I gave one condition. I said, I want to go back to India. My in-laws are in India, my parents are in India. I will join you only if you are planning to start an Indian development center. So they said, yes, that is on the cards. So I joined them for 2 years. I stayed in Los Angeles. I built up, I got to know the company, got to know the customers. I built a small pipeline of business. Then I moved back in 98 to India with my family. And so I think if I had stayed with Tata, I might have done better as a status wise. But maybe this change from, I enjoyed this doing things with your own, like, doing travel booking. Earlier I used to tell Terry, book a flight to Boston and then Toronto and then come back, etc. Now I had to do everything myself. And the beauty was that internet and e-commerce came at the right time for me, because then you didn't need secretaries. You did your own Gmail. You didn't have to dictate anything. You wrote. So I became self-sufficient. And then I think this starting a company, the culture, building a culture, that was very exciting for me. So I did a visioning workshop for my own startup company, in which I didn't do it myself. I was the managing director. So I got a friend who used to do this. I said, you come and do it. I can do it, but I should be a subject of that, what you tell me. So we did a 2-day workshop. And from there, my company's vision and all that came. And then I started using some of that learning in building vision journeys for some other startups, and also for Shiv Nada University. I was project director of Shiv Nada University. So I worked with Mr. Shiv Nada and his team to set up Shiv Nada University. So there also the vision document, I and the founding vice chancellor, Nikhil, we worked on it together. And then I got it, we presented it to 2 groups of 24 dignitaries. I created a panel of 24 people, 12 from industry, 12 from academia. So one sitting was with a group of 24, and then we had another sitting with another group of 24, and we told them to critique that vision. So we got very good rich inputs, and we chose people very wisely. Of course, with Shiv Nada University, I left after we inducted the first batch, and I stayed for another 3-4 months, and then I left. I feel it is doing well, but it is not, like you said, how much from with the vision, reality, there is a gap, even with Shiv Nada University. And if you ask me why, what reasons, I think sometimes the family or the promoter who starts becomes too close to the entity. So they micromanage. That is the problem. Now with UVC, that won't be there because you are very old.
Try to steer it towards what they consider as.
Yeah. So Mr. Shiv Nada is a very, very bright man. Maverick, he comes with great ideas. But nobody questions him. I remember, because I was a newbie, I came from outside, but his strategy team used to sit in these meetings. So I remember in meetings, I would kind of question him or his wife, Kiran Nada. And the strategy head sitting next to me, he will press my leg from below the table. He says, cool. Then I used to tell him, what's the point? You have hired me paying such a large amount of money. If you don't allow me to contest what he's saying, he says, there is a way. We cannot, if we do it now, it won't work. But we'll slowly find other ways to get it done. So I said, okay, if that's how you want, because I am very outspoken. Even with GLA University, I tell them what I feel like, and they listen. This relationship, is going on for a long time. I don't know how I survived, because I speak, when they had a very bad guest house, I used to tell them, no corporate will come and stay here. So they kept improving slowly, and now they invested in those things. Now it's not very good, but it's at least like you can put some people. If Venkat comes, we'll put him in the guest house.
He is also very straightforward.
Yeah.
I have one more
Yeah.
question. So you told about association with the Google
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
Where is that coming into picture in this?
It will come in because now students will be given projects, and not just computer science students.
Okay.
I in fact have created scripts for our counselors to tell law students, incoming law students, biotech students, how they will be able to use this for their benefit. And I used AI. AI is beautiful when it comes to these things. You give the right prompt, it gets back with a full script. So if you have a biotech student, suppose I'm a counselor, I will tell them recently we signed up 2 major agreements, one with Google, one with Microsoft. We are setting up labs. Now you as a biotech student will be using that lab for biotech projects. You will get hands-on training. When you go for your placement interview, you will have an edge over another biotech student from another university who has not had the hands-on experience of these labs. So the counselor, they are still not doing it well. I'm not happy. So I even told them I'll mentor you guys. But these, see, the thing is they're working it as a job. They come in the morning, they have to do the thumb, they have to do biometrics and all. I said, what the heck? I went to IITs. No faculty had to do any biometrics. What time you came, faculty used to take classes at 9:30 in the night. They were, so we have had this very screwed up thing about discipline and all that. Give faculty the freedom to do what they want, get the right faculty to come in, and they will utilize that freedom well. So we have these issues. The counselors are also doing a job. So they don't put their heart, they don't experiment. They're very scared. What if I get fired? If I use this script? So
See, I think once the size grows,
Yeah, I think what we will do is we will continue the discussion as we are having now. Otherwise, every time we
Yeah.
overshoot the time.
You can stop recording.
So we'll have Suresh doing the vote of thanks.
Oh, you have.
Normally close, then we can continue.
Okay.
One of thanks is. Okay. So 90 minutes of fantastic session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I was scared of too much of data. I was scared.
Unstoppable, I would say. No, I think it was very, very good refreshing of our memory of corporate life. All that vision, objectives.
Yeah.
Versus totally new for me on the entrepreneurial side, right? When you start from ESL and some.
It's marrying two different worlds.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it is. I don't think we could sort of imagine this sort of quick learning from anybody other than Dr. Joshi.
Thank you so much.
So sincere thanks on all of your behalf. And hope our association continues like this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks, Venkat, once again.
I think. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being a patient listener and asking very good questions.
So one more picture for this, at least.
It's a personalized Spark water bottle. So you made us drink water.
All right, Spark.
Spark with Dr.
Sparkling water. Thank you so much, everybody.
So I will call.
Okay, talk to you.
Hello, I will call Professor Umesh.
Yeah.
Bani sir. Bani. Niಮಗೆ not next month ಇರೋದು. Next month ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ. So let us hope people like Professor Umesh will bring up UVC to now whatever it is. Now the placement has been very good. You have seen the records and so hope such leaders will come and help the institute to grow.
Very humbly I accept the thing. Really